Welcome to the Lancashire Lad podcast. Welcome to the Lancashire Lad podcast, and this week it is a first because we have an actual Xfactor winner on the show. Back in 2014, this young man, Ben Haenow, won the Xfactor, and today he joins me for a chat. Ben, how are you? How are things?
Not too bad, mate. As we were saying before, just feeling a bit not quite myself due to a stag do that we were on yesterday. But other than that, living the dream, mate. Yeah, other than that, I'm doing good.
Well, do you remember when we were in our 20s? We could do stag do's like that. And
yeah,
you get into your 30s and it just starts to get a bit harder to get over.
It's the time it takes between it. Like normally, do you know what I mean? I'd have a day the next day feeling bad, but now I'm 36 now. It takes me normally about a week to get over that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to the next few days, mate. To be honest,
I always find it's the second day hangover that's the worst.
Yeah. I think you're right. So I've got that coming. But yeah, normally the next day you I think you're still riding off the alcohol and whatever else it is. So I think it's coming to me. Thanks for that, Stu.
It's all right, mate. Anyway, let's start with some good news because we've both recently become first-time fathers.
Yes, we have, and you've decided to go one better than me and have two, haven't you? You've doubled it, mate. So, massive congratulations to you, dude.
Yeah, you too. So I've got a boy and a girl. The boy's called River, the girl's called Robin. What have you got?
I've got a boy, a little boy. We called him Bo. We were mucking around with names. Yeah, we didn't know really, but when he came out, we had a few we were playing with, and I think when you see their little face, you just kind of think, yeah, the name fits. So
yeah. No, brilliant. Yeah, it's a bit of a surreal experience, isn't it?
Yeah, it's I don't know what I was expecting. In some respects, I'd say it's easier. You know, you think about people talk about having babies and how difficult it is, and I think you just go with it, didn't you? Once you've got a kid there, you just kind of do what you've got to do. And I mean, I'm knackered, but there's no better reason to be tired. You know, to see his little face.
Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't realise how selfish I was until these two came in. I didn't realise how much my life meant to me.
You haven't got a life anymore, do you? Particularly now you've got two, mate. You don't have a life. But I think you kind of appreciate the moments you get in between, and you kind of, when you've got a moment to yourself, if that happens, you kind of really do appreciate that. Mainly sleeping, but you do appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ben, thank you for joining me today. We're going to have a good chat about your career and you know, probably before that as well. So what I want to do is take you right back to the start when obviously you were a young lad growing up. When was it when you realised that you had a flair for singing or a talent? What age was it?
I don't, to be honest with you, I never really thought I had a talent for it. You know, it's one of those things I really enjoyed. Me and my brother first got guitars. Our uncle used to play guitar, and I think we were about 12 and 13 when we first got guitars. And I always wanted to be a guitarist because I thought, you know, coolest looking person on stage. It turned out,
drummer.
No, not at all. Not, we'll leave that to someone else. And it turned out I couldn't play guitar. So I was one of those people, after a week, if I wasn't brilliant at it, I just sort of thought, I can't do this. So I didn't really have the wherewithal to stick with it, and still wanted to do something sort of with my brother and kind of make music, and that was it. I just thought I'd give it a go at singing. But yeah, really, I don't think I thought I was any good, really, or started kind of like believing in myself a bit more till I was sort of 17, 18 and started, you know, then we got an originals band together and started going up and down the country and playing sort of the pubs and clubs and stuff. So yeah, it wasn't my first love, mate. Guitar was going to be my first thing. So
fantastic. So what was it, you know, was it something that people told you more than more? Hell, you know, you're really good at this, and then it started creeping into your head more like, oh, maybe I am. Is that how the process worked with you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's one thing to think you can sing, and I think when you do it in front of other people, you know, friends and family, or particularly my mum's, you know, was always going to say, "Oh, you're a great singer." But I think when you start singing in front of other people, and people are kind of like, "Yeah, you've got a bit of a voice, or you've got something to it," it does give you that confidence, and you start to kind of think, well, you know, if other people who have got no reason to tell me I'm good at singing say you're all right, then it went from there, really, man.
Cool. So who were your influences back then? You know, when you were growing up, teenage years, who was it that, you know, dare I say, you had on your Walkman? Because that's what you
You're aging us now, Stu, man. You're aging us. It was, for me, it was bands like Led Zeppelin, AC/DC. Really? Yeah, I was big into rock, man. Sort of the older I got was more sort of like your new metal stuff like Korn, Slipknot, those sort of bands. So it's blues has always been a big influence for me. But yeah, when I was younger, it was definitely Robert Plant was kind of the guy I wanted to be. So Led Zeppelin were my big heroes.
Well, you know, I didn't when I was going to ask that question, I didn't think that would come out of your mouth. I don't know why. I thought it would be something like George Michael or something like that.
I know what you mean. It's because of the beard, isn't it? It's because of the beard. I mean, my mum was big into soul music, so it was a lot of George Benson and sort of Stevie Wonder and stuff like that.
What a voice he had.
Yeah, but Dad was big into rock, and we used to just kind of sit by the speakers and listen to that sort of stuff. And yeah, a lot of people say that, dude. I think even from going on the Xfactor, people kind of don't expect you to come from a background of liking not real music, but liking heavier music. So yeah, but man, rock and roll away for me when I was a kid.
Well, you've just done what my next question was, which you've led us in towards the Xfactor, which obviously back in 2014. You made that step to go and audition. Was that the first year you went to audition and it happened in the first year?
Yeah, it was the first time I'd sort of gone for anything like that. I mean, a couple of mates at work had said to me before, you know, you should go on this show. And just like we were saying, I thought that show for me was always kind of pop singers. And I never thought that somebody from a rock background or somebody like the sort of music I did and wanted to sing the sort of music I did would have a chance. And also just genuinely, mate, never thought. You see people on there, you know, your Leona Lewis's and those type of people with incredible, like, you know, world class voices. And I never thought of that myself. And it got to a point where my brother had actually got tinnitus. He was the guitarist in my band.
Oh, right. Yeah, his ears.
Yeah. So we sort of broke up the band in I can't think when it was now, man. Maybe 2013 or so.
The year before?
Yeah, just a year or a couple of years before. And I just thought, you know, I still wanted to sing. And it was sort of one last shot of, well, you know, a lot of people have said, go for it, you know, why not go for it and just see what happens? And yeah, to have won it, to have won it on the first time round was just mind blowing. Yeah.
Well, I have to say, you know, you've said a few times since we started this chat that about like you didn't think you were that good and you didn't think your voice was that good. When I speak to someone, I always spend quite a bit of time researching the person. So I watched a lot of your videos early doors in the Xfactor. And I would say what you said is very genuine. You did look surprised with a lot of the feedback.
Yeah,
you did, you know, and you came across incredibly humble with that as well, because you could tell that because you know you get some people that go, I'm all right, but in their head they think they should.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know. But with you, it looked very genuine. That you were kind of like, what, really?
Well, yeah, it was, dude. Like, you get like, particularly for the first audition, I thought I was kind of being set up because they were going to me, you know, like, before you go on there's like 3 rounds before you get through to see the actual judges. And every time you go through, they'd be like, oh, you know, I'm sort of betting on you. Like one of the guys would be kind of like, you know, building you up. And I thought they're building me up for me to go in and go, yeah, hey, you know, look how fucking good I am. And then somebody would just go, no, not at all. But yeah, it's complete shock, dude. Complete shock to go in there and have people say what they said about me. Yeah,
well, you could tell. And like I said, I followed the journey. I mean, obviously, I've always watched the Xfactor anyway. And, you know, but obviously with it being 7 years ago, I needed to go back and revisit the earlier episodes and stuff just to catch up and where we were and stuff and where you were. And I have to say, I think you were, I think you got a good break, which leads me to this next point. I think you got a good break with getting Simon as your mentor, because, you know, we've got a mutual friend, shall we say, in a former Xfactor contestant that got Mel B as his judge, and it didn't go well. You know, I think the judge you got with Simon, there seemed to be chemistry between you. What was it like working with him? And what I've just said, would you agree with?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think the thing is, because it's a TV show, I think a major part of the show is a lot of people voting at home are already instinctively kind of going to be on your side because you've got the judge that they like, you know? I think that definitely goes in your favour. Having the man who owns the bloody show definitely goes in your favour. But I do think that it's you don't get to make a connection with him, man. You know, it's you don't see him that regular. You see him on the Saturday when he comes down for the live shows, and you maybe see him for 10, 15 minutes, but there's no, you know, make no bones about it, mate. You're not his friend, you know, and you're not there. You're a business proposition for him, but he's not there to make friends with you. Nice as he was, really nice guy. But yeah, we never spent much time together and never really made a connection. You're working with like the team behind closed doors and all these other people. But yeah, I think it definitely went in my favour to have Simon as a judge. Yeah.
Yeah, you see, this is the thing with I think programs like the X Factor. People don't really see what goes on behind closed doors. I mean, I guess I can probably see through the lights of it sometimes with it.
Yeah.
But I think some people think that Simon's knocking on your door at 8 in the morning. Right, Ben, time to get up.
Yeah, that's right. Do you know what I mean? And running you through your singing lessons, but he's not there doing that. And also the thing was, like they say about the auditions, was they make it look like you just walk into this audition room, sing in front of them, and there you are. Well, I went and queued up first time in London.
Yeah.
I was there for 14 hours, got to what you'd call the front of the queue, and they were like, oh, we can't see people anymore today. And they were like, would you come up to Newcastle? So I was like, yeah, of course I come up to Newcastle. As soon as we left, I was like to my mate, I'm not going anywhere. I've just queued up for 14 hours just to be mugged off. I'm not going anywhere. My auntie said to me, well, we'll pay for you to get a plane up there. You've got to go and do it. So it was really my second up to Newcastle, waited around there again. I think I waited around there for about 15 hours and done my audition at about midnight. And people on the TV probably thought, I just got there an hour before, walked into the room, and there it was. Yeah. So it is a difficult process, man, if you're not ready for it.
Yeah, I actually went for it years ago. I think 2012 it was at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
And I queued up for about, maybe 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah.
I got through, sung in this little black tent, and the producer went, you're one of them. And I was like, what does that mean? Well, you're not fantastic.
Right.
You're not bad enough to put through either.
Oh, for fuck's sake, cool.
I was like, right, well, he said, if I put you through, you probably wouldn't get through the next round.
Well, give us a chance to see what happens.
And I said, well, give me a chance. And he sort of went, no, I'm going to say no. So that was my sort of experience of it. So I do know what you're saying on that side of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's me telling a story to someone who's bloody won it. So
no, but that's right though, man. The fact that you say you went in and sung in this little tent, like nobody knows that. Do you know what I mean? Unless you've gone and done it, nobody knows that. So it's it's mad. It's a whole mad experience.
Absolutely. So I just want to talk about when you're on the X Factor, because I've heard other people that have had gripes about it. How much control do you get over what you sing or your song choice?
Yeah, that's a difficult one. I mean, initially I went in and I sort of suggested some Ray Charles stuff and they took that on board. The first 2 songs I sung, I think I sung Wild Horses, which was one I suggested. As soon as you're kind of in the programme, you're there and they kind of go, right, this is the theme this week. And they'll say, you've got 20 minutes to send us 7 songs that you want to sing in that theme. So you do it, and then you wouldn't get one of the songs that you've picked, but somebody else would get one of your songs. So I think essentially what you were doing was creating them a playlist for them to then choose who gets what song. Or they'd say one week, oh, Simon really wants you to sing this, you don't know that Simon said that. And I think that the whole program or behind the doors is a bit like a game of Simon Says, because they'll say, oh, Simon said this, and you'll go, oh, if he said that, I guess I should do it. So control wise, Stu, you don't really get you get asked, but you don't ever really get to sing what you want to sing. I think they kind of know what they want to do for you week in, week out. So
yeah, it's funny because obviously our mutual friend, well, we'll say it, Paul Akers.
Yeah, Paul.
He's been to a couple of my gigs over the years, and whenever I sing Meatloaf, he can't stand it. He absolutely despises Meatloaf, right? To the point where, and then that episode where they made him sing Bat Out of Hell.
Did you see it? But he had bat wings on, Stu. That's the thing. It was Halloween and they put little bat wings on him and he was like in the wings. He was like, for fuck's sake, you know what I mean? What are they making me look like? So,
well, I could just imagine the fury in his head.
Yeah.
He meant to sing, because it's the only band I've ever known him really not like. And then
did he not like him before?
No, he's never liked Meatloaf. Never. So when he was on it, I was sat at home watching it thinking, who a bastard.
Yeah.
So
he was angry in the wings, mate. I've got a video of that I can maybe send at one point. I've got a video of him in the wings, yeah.
No, that'd be brilliant. So, it's just interesting how it works. Now, listen, you had a really great experience on the X Factor, not only being on it, but you got to perform with Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, I did.
You know what I mean? So, What was that like? How did that happen? Was it you that asked for that, or was it just them giving you him?
It was them who worked it out. But I'd sung his track "Thinking Out Loud" on one of the shows, and when he came, like Simon arranged for him for me and him to sing at the end. When he came in and I first met him, he was like, I was like, dude, I can't believe you're doing this. No, thanks so much. And he was like, well, I had to come back and do it really, because when I sung it on the Xfactor, it made his track go back in at #1. So it was sort of like, I owe you a favour. I was like, well, fuck yeah, I'll cash that in now. Do you know what I mean? That's fine. Yeah.
So what was Ed like with you? Did you rehearse it before you did it? Or
yeah, we did. We had kind of an hour's rehearsal, and what the guys said was, they said, we want to do this to track, backing tracks and stuff like that. And Ed said basically he's not doing it unless we can go on and do it sort of live. Obviously vocals would have been live anyway.
Yeah.
But he's a professional musician, man, and he was like, I'm not going to come on there pretending to play guitar. So if I'd have said that, it wouldn't have worked out, but he said that, and they were just like, yeah, we're going to get him on. So live piano, live guitar, and he's such a down to earth and lovely bloke, and was really like, you're kind of starstruck meeting this guy.
Yeah.
And people, they could be a bit arrogant. They're going on a pop TV show. Do you know what I mean? That they probably don't have much, credibility with. But he was so lovely and so down to earth, mate, and made me feel like it made me feel kind of worthy of being with him on stage, which was really important for me.
Was he kind of like that with guitar and went, right, you take that bit, I'll take that bit.
That is exactly it. Yeah, that is
he was instructing you though, like, you do that bit, I'll do that bit.
No, yeah, kind of. He was like, he came in first and he was like, what key do you sing this in? You know what I mean? And I was like, I haven't got a clue what fucking key I sing it in. And so it made him already realise I was a terrible musician. And he was like, well, what we can do is a 3-part harmony here and this and that. And we sort of worked it out between us. But he definitely kind of picked bits that he wanted to do. But he wasn't like, you do this bit and you sing it like this. It was just kind of like, let's work it out. So
I love that, like, because I'm the same. What key you sing it in? Whatever you do.
Yeah. Well, people say to me as well, I'm playing guitar, like, play a B, play a... I'm like, I have no idea what the names of the chords are. I can just play them, so.
Yeah, that's brilliant, mate. You've made me feel spectacular. Because, anyway, it is what it is. So, yeah, you got to perform that with... Ain't it funny, the power of the Xfactor, that you sing it on one of the episodes and it sends that song back to #1?
Yeah. And
crazy.
I think at that time as well, it was kind of... That year was after Simon had been away for a while and he came back. And I think that was the last one with the big views. I think it was sort of like 14, 15 million people watching it. And after that, after my year, I think it seemed to just kind of go downhill a bit and people just lost a bit of faith in it, really.
Well, I think it was becoming. I think the Xfactor was becoming. It was more that it was rammed down your throat over a period of time where it started getting a bit more intense, I think. But I mean, obviously, your year, it was a strong year, because I'll admit to you right now, one of my favourite ever contestants on the Xfactor was Fleur.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what it was about her, but I just really got captivated. I think it was the choreography as well as the dancing, as well as the singing.
Do you know what? I think it's the thing is a platform like that. She was born for that, and she was a star. It was everything that needed. The choreography on TV, the look that she had, the kind of music that she was doing, and kind of the kind of person she was. I think it all just. The people that have made it good off that, like Little Mix, they're pop people, and I think being a young lady, good-looking young lady, and having all that sort of glitz and glamour around her, and having the right sort of songs where you could see her releasing that music when she left. I think that's what done it, and fair play to her.
And I think that's what did it for me with her. She just captivated me, quite a lot. And before you knew it, you two are on the side of buses. Yeah. And you're going head to head in the final, which not only is, it's not even in the studio anymore, man. It's in a big audience arena.
Yeah.
Where was it actually at?
It was at Wembley, mate.
Where?
It was the dream. You know what I mean? Like, that is bucket list stuff, to go there. And that's what has, to be able to play at all these, I mean, I've played the O2, I've played Wembley now, I've played different arenas all over the world, I'd say. Do you know what I mean? Not just over the country. And it was literally like ticking off my bucket list, sung on stage with Queen. Do you know what I mean? I was like, fucking hell, dude. Like,
So what was it? I mean, it must have just been such a fast process where you're thinking, I'm auditioning here, and now all of a sudden you're on the stage at Wembley in the grand final of the Xfactor.
Yeah.
What was You seem to do quite well with your emotions on that show, from what I saw. You always looked... You can see sometimes when people are like rabbit in the headlights.
Yeah.
You seem very composed in all them situations. You looked in control.
Yeah.
Was that true? Or
no, that was 100%. And people say it, and it sounds like a cliche, or it sounds like total shit. But I feel at home when I'm on stage, and I never. I mean, I was thinking to myself, do you know what I mean? When you're in the wings, you think, shit, I'm going to go on stage at Wembley. You get out there, and it's just like. Yeah, man. I want to sing. I want to sing to people, and I'm on stage at Wembley. It was never like. I think sometimes it happens so quickly you don't get time to process it. But in the same vein, like I would come off and think. People always said that to me. Do you know what I mean? You just looked like you were okay with it, and I just was, man. Yeah, I just totally was.
No, you look like I think it's what you just said then. You just look like you belonged in that environment, and it was something that, because I can imagine so many people would get absolutely anxiety through the teeth, in that situation. So anyway, the grand final, it goes really well. Dermot comes onto the stage.
Yeah.
There's Fleur there, there's you there, and the winner of the Xfactor 2014. Now, at home, it seems like about 20 seconds before he announces it. How long does it feel like when you're on stage?
I promise you, it felt like a fucking year. It felt like you're standing there, and it's like, obviously they do it for effect, but at that time, you're just like, you've been through the whole program, and your mind and body is shattered anyway. And it just feels like forever. Do you know what I mean? And all I'm genuinely thinking at that point, is, and the winner is Fleur. Do you know what I mean?
So you thought she was going to win?
Yeah, 100%. I think there was times when I thought that, look, dude, I was put on stage. I stand there and sing, right? I stand there and sing. Yeah. Sometimes I had some dancers behind me doing something, but she had, if you're watching it from a TV screen, she had fire and dancers and was involved in the choreography and, the lights and stuff like that. And I think for me, I was almost like, well, it feels like that they're kind of pitching her to win, so it was, but I was never, not sort of like bitterly, do you know what I mean? Or it feels like they're pitching her to win, but I was just like, it's from the stage performances, the choreography and everything that they sort of ploughed into those performances, for me to then go on kind of dressed in another bloody leather jacket and just stand there and sing. Do you know what I mean? I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to win, but yeah, definitely thought that Fleur was going to win at that point.
But she didn't.
She did not, no.
She didn't, because obviously your name was called out. And this is what I was looking forward to asking you, because how many people do you ever meet in your life? So I'm meeting you now here.
Yeah.
That has a number one single.
Yeah.
And no one can ever take that away from you.
No, you're right, Stu. You're right. And I mean, I suppose sometimes along the line you forget that. I kind of don't remember that stat or that fact. And I think that, when it comes around to Christmas time again and people are like running through, these are Christmas songs or rundown of the Christmas number ones, and I'm on it. I'm like, it's I can bore my kid to death of it, when he's older. It's the story I'm going to tell him forever. But it's one of those things that there's so little people have got that accolade.
Exactly.
It does make me feel pretty special when I think
I play a game with some of my friends sometimes where we're in the pub drunk, and I'll find out I'll get my phone out and go, right, when were you born? And they'll tell me the born, and I'll type and I'll tell them who was number one when they were born.
Yeah.
It's like a game I play. Well, people are going to play that down the line.
Yeah.
At some point, someone's like, when were you born? Oh, the 18th of December, 2014.
Yeah, man.
Ben Haenow was number one when you were born.
No, I did not think that. But yeah, it's cool as hell. It is cool as hell.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people as well, because of the song, a lot of people are like, this is my first dance at my wedding. And I know that, like, for me, that's a really special thing. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so it's crazy to think the sort of impact that song has on people and stuff like that. Yeah.
2 questions for you. In one, if you want to bat the first one away, that's completely fine.
Cool.
Obviously, when the advertise the X Factor and who wins it, it's advertised £1 million
Yes.
Yes. How does that work? Do you see any of the money, or is it just goes into production of promoting you?
Yeah, that's right. So essentially, like, I mean, people forget when I talk to them, they forget the word record deal after it. So people go £1 million and they go, what have you done with £1 million? And I thought, if I had £1 million, mate, I wouldn't be wearing this T-shirt and living around this area. Do
or
you know
speaking
what I mean?
to me.
Of course I would. Of course, I'd just be waving money at you.
Throwing it.
Yeah, so what they do is it's the record deal. So they're essentially, they pay themselves back that money. You know, they say, we've spent this much on your video, we've spent this much on your single. So you get a what do you call it? What they used to bloody call it, an advance.
Right.
So you get an advance on your record, but it's I won't tell you the amount, but
tell me that.
It is nowhere near even a quarter or a fifth of that amount of money.
Right.
And what they do is then they give you that money, but then everything that's earned from your records and everything that's when you go and stay at hotels, when you go and do this, you're paying for that out of your advance. When you're traveling to different places, you're paying for that out of your advance. And all the money that you would then make off the record, they take back. So say that, you know, the record the album went gold in this country and a couple of others. So it was over 120,000 copies sold or something. Yeah. £10 an album. So I can't really do the math on that, but they made their money back just on the album sales, right? But still can kind of pass it off. Like, they still say to me to this day, something, we haven't recouped all that money. And it's like, but you have 100% recouped all that money, because then singles that came after that, tour money and stuff like that. So it's a tough one. It's £1 million record deal. And essentially what they do with that is they're paying them, it's just money that they keep themselves and then say to you, this is what we spent it on.
It's like I said, it's another smoke and mirrors job, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where they make the public think that Ben's got £1 million check written out to him, and off he goes into the sunset, where it's not like that. Which leads me to the next question is, and it's always baffled me, why did he, when people win the X Factor, why did he seem to wrap them up and get rid of him for so long?
No idea, because that's the other argument I had of them, is that if an artist came out tomorrow that you liked and they released a record that you liked, you'd then want them to release another record 2 months down the line. So if they disappeared for a year, you're going to forget who they are. Well,
that's exactly what I think happens with the X Factor winners. Yeah. Whereas it seems better to come second sometimes, because
that's right.
You're not. So what I'm trying to say is, when you win the X Factor, you are red hot right in that moment. Yeah. And it's like they seem to want to, not with you, for example, but it's like they seem to want to go, right, in the next 9 months, I want you to work out, I want you to get buff, I want you to get your teeth fixed, I want you to do your hair. And then we're going to bring you back in 10 months and you're going to go, boom. But it's gone then.
They don't ride. It's the momentum. The momentum you've got, exactly like you say, like red hot at that time. The momentum you've got, not everybody in the country, but people have been watching you every weekend. People know who you are. So they're going to come and see your shows then. They're going to come and buy your singles and songs then. If you disappear for 10 months, a year, you come out on the next version of that show, by which time people are already invested in the next winner or the people that they think is going to win next. So totally.
I don't think, it's interesting to hear you say that you don't know, because it's always baffled me. It's completely always baffled me. And I don't know whether it's their way of protecting themselves from, but I can't think for what reason.
It's honestly, you're right, man. And that is the biggest thing, is like, nobody could answer that question for me. I don't think anybody could answer that question and give me an answer that I'd be happy with, but it makes no sense and it's not, you're on a TV show, but then you're handed to a record label who bring out artists all the time, help artists develop all the time. These people know what they're doing, yet they don't, they, like you say, disappear for 10 months, mate, and then come back. Well, why?
Yeah, why? It's completely strange. It is. Yeah. So I was listening to. I'm baffled by that, by the way. I thought.
Yeah, me too. But no, nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing.
It's. I watched a video last night that I'd completely forgot existed, and I forgot what a good song it was. And of course, it was you with Kelly Clarkson. I think it's a really, really good song. Of course, it's called Secondhand Heart.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
It was, so I was sent out to LA to kind of write some songs with some people, which was an incredible experience, and kind of came across that song that was already written in part. It was coming towards the end of the time when I was out in LA, and one of the guys was like, this should be the single. Now, if I'm totally honest with you, mate, it's not we had like 60 odd tracks that we'd written in total, right? So only 12, 13 of those made the album. Of the ones that made the album, they weren't my choice of what went on there. They wouldn't have been my first choice. There's a couple on there that would have, but Secondhand Heart would not have been my sort of song. I think the thing that they'd done on the show was kind of pitted me as the rock singer, and kind of, I'd done an AC/DC track on there. I'd done Come Together, and some more sort of rocky stuff. But to come, that whole thing of disappearing for 10 months and people were like, he's the rock guy, he's going to come out with some sort of rocky music. To come out with like a country four on the floor, sort of, like Cotton Eye Joe sort of thing. It sounded, like, I know it was not quite in the same vein, but it wasn't any, I think people were completely tuned out of it because it wasn't.
It didn't identify to anything that you or represented really from the show.
But it came, it came about so that song was already written, came back to the UK, and it was a solo song. One of the heads of the label at the time said to me, this would be cool as a duet. And initially it was Pink that they said to get on the track. Yeah, that would have been, and I'm not knocking Kelly, man. Kelly's unbelievable. Kelly's unbelievable, an incredible lady, and was so nice when I went to meet her and stuff, and was like, it's a great song. I don't even know that you need me on this song. But they paid her a wedge of money to come on the song, which she did. At the time, she was quite heavily pregnant. So they knew that, unless they were
you
blind
couldn't
to
promote it really.
No way. Yeah, she was never going to come on the UK one and sing it with me, bro. So I released a duet song with Kelly Clarkson that people are thinking, this is going to be good. If she'd come on the show and sung that with me, it would have been the song that we were delivering, and maybe people would have been a bit more infused in it. But for me to go on and sing a duet song on my own that kind of didn't even represent the single, I thought was completely messed up anyway,
Yeah, I think I did like the song, but I can understand where you're coming from in the sense of it's a slow burner at the start, and it's nowhere near what you're capable of.
Well, it's not a single though, Stu. Do you know what I mean? Like a single's supposed to hit you bang straight off. I think that's maybe
it's an album song, isn't it?
Too right, yeah. Yeah, but that was kind of that was their decision, and I think at the time, again, if they got Pink on it, she probably would have come over because she wasn't pregnant, and it maybe would have worked out. But
when you look back at things like this, are you okay with it, or do you look back and get angry?
I think there was a time I made my peace with it. I can't say I don't look back and think not that I was fucked over, but I just look back and think, how could you have made some of them decisions? How could people around me have made some of those decisions, knowing the sort of outcomes of it? But no, I've made my peace with it. But it does little things like that. I just because there's been no real closure on it, because I can't go to them, why this or why did that happen? There's no closure on it. So I've just kind of had to make my peace with it, really. Mate.
It's just so cutthroat, isn't it? The business in general, and it is baffling when you get the nation behind you that vote you the winner of a competition, and then you are with you with recognized music moguls of the world that you would think would do everything in the best interest of you.
Absolutely.
And make silly decisions. It's
absolutely.
It's like you shouldn't be making schoolboy errors. You should.
But I also think, right, and because I thought that before, and I was like, do you know what? If this is a business proposition, even take me out of the equation, right? I don't pretend that anybody in big business or big labels cares for me. But if it's a business proposition and you want to make a return on your money, make some good decisions, man. At the end of the day, I'm only going to be as good as the shit that you give me to work with. And if you've invested that much time sending me to LA, sending me to Nashville, getting Kelly Clarkson to jump on a track, if you've done that, then make some decent sort of decisions to make it happen. Otherwise, I just felt like, even as a business decision, it's shit,
Absolutely. That reminds me, the video of that of the song Secondhand Heart. Who was that filmed? Because Nashville,
yeah.
It looked absolutely. I was watching it thinking, where the fucking hell's that?
It's unreal, bro. You've got to get yourself. I mean, all they do out there is drink and write songs, so it was a perfect place to be. But
well, I have actually got one of my best friends. His dad lives in Nashville and stuff. Because I've actually, I don't know if you've heard of her, but I think you will have heard of her. There's a American singer-songwriter that I absolutely love her. She's called Brandi Carlile.
Right.
Have you heard of her?
I don't think so, man.
She's won a couple of Grammys, so maybe you need to.
Oh, yeah, cool, okay.
So yeah, I've sort of got into the Nashville thing a little bit, not in person, but yeah. But anyway, I wondered where it was filmed. That was all, because it looked very picturesque and stuff.
It was really cool to be out there.
Oh, and by the way, when you were number one with the Xfactor Winners song, are you aware of what song you knocked off number one?
No, I'm not. No, what was it?
Wait till you hear this. You knocked off number one, Uptown Funk.
No way.
That's what I read before.
Oh wow! Do you know what? Yeah, I think you might be right with that as well. And that was kind of a new. Oh, excuse me, I was about to swear. Well, I've sworn anyway, so I was going to say that's incredible, right?
But you knocked off number one, Bruno Mars, Uptown.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And do you know what? And I think, like you say, the only. I think I was the last X Factor winner to get a Christmas number one. I think the guys after that, it didn't happen. And I think
the general public of England voted Rage Against the Machine.
They did, mate. They did. I was one of those people. So
quality. Right. Quick question. So on the show, the judges, etc. Just as quick as you can, describe Simon in a few words.
Very shrewd businessman.
Louis Walsh.
Lovely little Irish fella.
Lovely little Irish.
He was lovely.
Mel B.
She was my arch enemy at the time. She didn't like me, so arch enemy.
Yeah, I don't think
she didn't like many people, mate.
Yeah. And who was the fourth one?
Cheryl Fernandez Vicini. Yeah.
What was she like?
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, are you being serious?
Yeah, no, she was cool. Yeah, do you know what, mate? Probably one of the most down to earth of the judges that was there. Really lovely girl.
Right, who's the nicest celebrity you've ever met?
Probably Ed Sheeran, mate. I'm going to put it out there. Yeah.
Who's the biggest arsehole you've ever met? If you don't have to say it, it's up to you.
Yeah, no, I can't say, but I can't say, but they're still releasing music now, and they were signed to Psycho's label. So,
boy, girls.
I'm just going to leave it there, Stu.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough. Very diplomatic. And who's the most famous person on your mobile phone?
On my mobile phone, it would have been Liam Payne, One Direction. I would say that would have been it.
Right, not anymore.
No, well, you know, it's probably not his phone number anymore, but I've not texted him to say, all right, Liam, do you fancy coming down the pub or anything? So
Yeah. Cool. Okay, mate. So what is right now? Obviously, you've just had a baby recently.
Yeah.
What's the sort of, what are you up to now then? What are you wanting to go? What road are you wanting to go down?
I mean, it's for me, I've been offered, when I came off the show, I was kind of offered a lot of these, the jungle and these sort of things. And it's just like, for me, my genuine passion, dude, has always been writing and singing. And that's all I've wanted to do. I didn't want to go on and sort of try and follow another career path or become a TV star or anything. So it's still been music. I mean, before the lockdown, the last gig I played was in the Royal Albert Hall. So that was another one ticking off the bucket list. Yeah. And then lockdown came and sort of ruined all the gigs. So just sticking with it, mate. Been writing a lot for people, been writing a lot with people, just trying to kind of get the new stuff together. But definitely just going to continue doing it, mate.
Would the voice ever interest you? Or
no, I think maybe if I'd have not come out as the winner of one of them shows, I think, I got the platform I needed.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. I think then to go on, it would look a bit desperate to go on another one of these programs and be like, and I also think that for me, The Voice, yeah, great, but that's mainly about the judges. I can't tell you one winner of The Voice, Stuart. I could not tell you.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's obviously Kevin Sim who
that's it. I mean, mate, yeah. He's wet now. He sings.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. He's taken over Marty Pello who Marty Pello, by the way, what a voice!
Incredible.
Yeah,
incredible.
like, oh my god.
But dude, Kevin Sim, because we've done a couple of gigs together, and again, really nice bloke, but what a bloody voice on him. So couldn't have got a better man for the job.
Well, that's what I mean. He's sort of had like 3 lives, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Then over to The Voice and won that.
Yeah.
And that went down, and now I'll just join one of the biggest bands.
One of the biggest bands on the planet. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, do you know what? Thinking about it, then maybe there is an opportunity there, but I just don't know. I just don't know whether another. And I don't know whether it's worth putting the family and that's all the stress of it, because when you're on those programs, it's like you're in there in that bubble, kind of living it, and they're on the outside, seeing you maybe once every 2 weeks or something and getting to speak to you every now and then. I think it's really tough on the outside for them guys. So
especially now as a little baby here and stuff. And is that going to be the first of maybe another? Or
I think so. I think we're going to go for 2.
Well, we were going to do that, but obviously
you've just had 2 at once.
We did it at once, so we're quite. That's it though. Now, no more sex for me. I'm out.
You can still practice, mate. You can still practice.
I'm not even. No, I'm done. I'm out. I'm out. So no, it's congratulations on the birth of your child and stuff. Thank and everything like that. And honestly, it's been a real treat talking to you. And like you said, you're probably going to nip up to Morecambe and Lancaster. We'll go for a beer, mate, if you're about. Thanks for having me on, dude. I really appreciate it. It's cool. It's really cool. Right, I'm going to finish off with my 10-question shootout that I always ask people. Okay. Now, I was just at Ricky Hatton's house 2 weeks ago doing and
you've got to be careful what you ask Ricky Hatton, mate.
Well, yeah, it was quite an eye opener. So. So, it's been great to have you on. So we're going to fire away with these 10 questions. So just answer as quick as you can. And it should be a great way of finding a bit more out about people. So question number 1, what is your favourite word, Ben Haenow?
My favourite word? Breakfast. Quite like breakfast as a word.
Breakfast. What is your least favourite word?
I've got 2. So the one's moist, because it just makes me feel ill when people say it. And the other one is a pronunciation of better. When people say better with D's in it, better.
Right. Better.
It just does my nutting. So people,
you know something? It's a bit similar to me, that, in the sense I hate it when people say, "Oh, I've won you." I'm like, you can't say won you.
No, you can't win.
It doesn't make sense. You've got to say beat you.
Yeah.
Won you. Yes. So, okay, moist, that crops up quite a bit.
No.
What turns you on?
A nice accent. A nice accent, like a Newcastle accent.
No, top of the morning to you.
Yeah, that's Irish, fella.
Right, so, and what accent did you say? Newcastle?
Yeah.
Oh, right, sorry.
Yeah.
You probably wondered what I was doing there.
I was going to say,
Yeah. All right, Newcastle accent. Okay, Geordie Shore girls will be watching this.
Well, listen, mate, I'm married.
Yeah. You made that definitely clear then, didn't you? What turns you off?
Bad teeth, I think, is a bad thing. Yeah, people with bad teeth. Yeah, me too, but I'm not something pot and kettle, to be honest with you.
My teeth are bad teeth. Just a bit smoke stained, my teeth.
Yeah, me too.
Too. What sound do you love?
What sound do I love? Farting in a bath. You know when you fart in a bath, I think is a good one.
Oh, mate, that's the best answer for that one I've had yet. What sound do you hate?
At the moment, it's crying baby, mate. It goes right through me.
It's a bit intense.
Yeah.
All I can say is imagine 2 of them doing it.
Yeah, no, mate. One is stereo sound. I don't think so.
Yeah, absolutely. What is your favourite curse word?
It starts with C and ends in unt.
All right, so you're in that band. But yeah, fair enough.
I think it's a London. I mean, particularly Londoners love that word. It means all sorts of things. But definitely that one.
I think up north, I think it's my mum. She hates that word, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like some of my friends down in London or especially Australia.
Yes.
Like, it's in term of endearment.
Yeah, it is, mate. It depends on how you say it, but yeah, it is.
Yeah, so I get it. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I think astronaut would be cool. I'm going to just go big on that one, but I think astronaut would be cool.
Knowing you'd probably do it as well.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. You'd be like, you're perfect for an astronaut. Am I? I didn't believe you. I never knew. Best astronaut ever. What profession would you not like to participate in?
Bus driver. Do you know? Because they're in them little box. They're in a big bus, but you're in a little box thing as well. Like, claustrophobic, man.
No, fair enough. You thought about that before, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
You've been on a bus or you've walked past one and gone?
Walked past one. You're making me say, I've never been on public transport, but I do walk past them and think I couldn't stand being on that. Yeah.
And finally, Ben, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you as you arrived at the pearly gates?
Do you know what I'd like? I'd like to say is kind of stupid as this sounds. You know, like all your family are waiting for you. Do you know all the ones that have been and gone, man? I'd like to say that everybody's waiting for you. So it'd be cool to see them.
There's nothing wrong with that. Ben Haenow, thank you so much for joining me today. You've been honestly one of my favourite guests. I love talking to people when it's not an interview, where it turns into a conversation.
Dude, and I'll tell you what, it's like I do a lot of interviews where it's just the same question over and over again. It's nice to have a chat with somebody who seems genuine. So thanks for that. Bro.
Cheers, mate. Listen, stay on. I'm just going to say goodbye to my viewers. I'll have a chat with you in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, that is another episode of the Lancashire Lad podcast with 2014 Xfactor winner Ben Haenow. If you're enjoying these episodes, please subscribe to the channel and help me get to my 1,000 subscriber limit so that I can take this further. Ben, you've been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.
Cheers, buddy. Take care.